My name's Don.
And I'm Peter.
And we are two plebs talking about... California.
This week in the DPRC.
Sure enough.
Right.
In the continued ridiculousness of this state and the mind-blowingness of it, we have now decided that we are going to, and it depends a little on who's reporting on this as to whether or not it is universal healthcare or just healthcare.
Right.
But since we already provide healthcare, one must presume it's universal. But
Right.
we're going to provide universal healthcare for illegal immigrants.
We are.
Yeah.
Do we get a vote on that?
Well, it's a Senate bill, so no. And, by the way...
It's not this election run. It'll be next election run because we have all the petitions that come up and say no.
Well, so that'll be the, assuming people actually want to say no to this, that'll be how it's done.
True. From the sentiment I've seen around a lot of places, a lot of people would be gung-ho for that.
Right?
I don't agree with them, but...
Well, and, agree with them, don't agree with them. Apparently that will invariably be irrelevant because this is gonna happen at this point, right?
Right. It's most likely going to happen. It's California, which means I don't agree with it. I don't want it to happen, but I'm going to pay for it.
Oh, you are. Yeah. And what is most interesting about this is we previously had said we were going to pass universal health care for everybody.
Right.
And the reality was, it
cost too much.
Got the Brown's desk, basically, and he went, "Who is paying for this?
Where's the money coming from? There's no financial part of this.
And so
Send me a complete bill."
Well, there was one, right? But it turns out even Governor Moonbeam was like, "Pretty sure that's not enough money. Stop it."
Well, actually, as I understand it, he has classically been opposed to something like that. Henceforth, why they want his replacement to be even more crazy lefty.
True.
Because he's been telling the lefties no.
Right. But in the meantime, right, so we've decided that this is not a good thing, at least at the gubernatorial level, for California to do, because probably of all the problems with, socialized medicine. But on the other hand, if you are an illegal immigrant here, you now will have socialized medicine.
You will have socialized medicine. We won't let ICE find you and send you back home. California's an open border, man. Just come on in. We'll take care of everything for you.
Right.
All of our rich people won't mind paying for you to live.
We've talked a bunch of times about how it's becoming progressively better to renounce your U.S. citizenship than it is to stay a U.S. citizen here.
Yeah.
And if there were some miracle way that I could renounce my California citizenship and keep my U.S. citizenship and then be treated like an illegal immigrant here, I would do it.
Right.
Like that.
I imagine.
I mean, seriously, what in the hell? Is there any debate left that this state is more interested in what it can do for illegal immigrants than American citizens? Is there?
But we're a donor state. We're already paying for another 29 states. That's why our taxes are so high.
One of my favorite things. One of these days, I will do a breakdown of what California thinks it gets from the U.S. and what it actually gets from the U.S. because it notoriously likes to forget that it gets all kinds of things from the rest of the U.S. and then goes, well, just in federal tax dollars, we give more to the rest of the country than anybody else. And they're usually not wrong.
And we get very little back. We have to beg for, disaster relief.
Yeah, I have to beg for disaster relief, which has never happened. This is, what this comes down to is that FEMA is slow, and they're slow for everybody.
No, they're talking about specifically fires.
I know. And what this comes down to is that FEMA is slow, and they're slow for everybody. But California says they should be fast for us.
Right. Because most of their money comes from us.
Sure. No. But sure.
Right.
And so they equally speaking, Nevada, Colorado, a couple other people, mostly Nevada, subsidize our power quite a bit.
Yep.
But that doesn't happen, right?
No,
and so what you get is that, well, if we had just broken off for the rest of the United States, we could pay for all of these socialistic policies. Well, sad news, friends. When you instigate this universal healthcare thing and then break off from the U.S., everybody's going to leave.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it goes.
Because, one of the larger proponents of, we must help out the refugees, give them everything they need, is someone who fled the country he was living in at the time because they got too close to his house.
Right.
Mr. Clooney.
So, just saying.
He left Italy to come back to the U.S. because there was too many refugees needing assistance there.
Weird. Well, and that's the usual thing, right? But hold on a minute. Let's not get too far away from this. If you are a non-citizen, you get the citizens of the state paying for your health care.
Right.
Is there any way to say that doesn't sound ridiculous?
We're being inclusive and inviting and welcoming. It's not ridiculous. What the hell are you talking about?
Well,
you greedy bastard.
Yeah, probably. And
you don't need it. They do.
They need it.
So you should just give it to them.
My bad. Foolish me for thinking that if I'm going to... What everyone always tells me about taxes, right? If I'm going to pay taxes, I will get a service in return, and therefore that's why it's okay for the government to tax me at whatever rate it sees fit.
Right.
Well, look, straight up, I'm paying taxes for this, and I ain't getting shit out of it.
Why wouldn't you?
Mostly because I'm a U.S. citizen.
You get to get your heart warmed by seeing all those smiling illegal immigrants. Or sorry, uninvited or undocumented guests.
Yes. Illegal immigrants bad, Peter.
Yes, bad.
Don't be racist.
So the overswelling within your heart for the generosity and goodwill that you've given out to other human beings is more than compensation enough for all the money we're taking from you.
This is a good point. I hadn't considered that we were basing this off of the story of the Grinch.
This is feel-good regulation. This is all about the feels. Well, we have to step out of our usual box of, well, where's the facts, figures, and where the money's coming from. Those things are supposed to be inconsequential to what needs to happen to help people out.
Oh, is that what's going on now?
Run the country into the ground to feed people who won't take care of themselves in their own homes.
Makes sense.
Yes.
So, by the way, all of this is supposedly a big giant spit in the eye of Trump, right?
Well, of course.
And
because they're fighting his racist policies that he's putting forth in California.
Right. On the upside, by the way, I will say there is a benefit to everyone not in California, right? So Arizona, you can go here, razor fist complain about illegal immigration there. Texas is regularly bitching about it. Probably not for long.
Right, because if California says free universal health care to all undocumented guests, they will leave your states.
Right.
California will finally do something for you.
Right. Hey, for once.
Actually.
For once,
not
we're
just
looking
claiming.
Out for the rest of the country.
Not just claiming they're doing something for you by being progressive. They'll actually be doing something for you.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. We take their homeless, too.
You cad.
I know, I'm a bastard that way. But, it is what we do. So, look, dear Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, probably Florida too, right? Look, your undocumented guests are going to undocument their way right over to here.
Yep.
Because, look, they are going to have no requirement to pay for this thing, but are going to get all the service.
Yes, as soon as that thing passes, what you're going to see is a whole bunch of people of different colors and creeds all in their cars, driving to California, all blazing California dreaming the entire way down.
Right. And look, as they should. I mean, let's be honest. If I don't know, New Jersey. Okay, maybe not New Jersey. I'm not going to Jersey. But if some other state that was definitely not New Jersey said, hey, Don, for, I don't know, doing literally anything in your life that you have done, we are going to have other people pay what amounts to $1,300 a month for you, or just give you $1,300 a month cash, because that's basically what this will come down to in the end, right? Well, then, hey, you're just going to pay me. That's the incentive structure, right? Come over here and let me give you some shit.
Right.
But hey, that definitely won't happen here.
No.
Oh, man. But, look, I'm sure I'm missing something about how this is a great policy in some other way, just than it, is going to make my heart grow 3 sizes too large or something.
Right.
Which will make me need health care that will now be being given to illegal immigrants. But, hey, hell with it.
Right.
Regardless. Yeah. This is a ridiculous subject, and maybe we should just get off of it and move on to other California things.
We should, because we usually try to cover 2, and I think we're starting to chew into
we definitely are.
The second story's time.
And so, look, I think covered the assault weapons ban registration-y thingy.
Kinda.
When it happened here in California.
Yes.
That said, hey, you have to either turn in or register with the DOJ. And in fact, I know we covered the DOJ way.
Yes, we did.
We don't have a way to do that.
We don't have a way to do that, so get fucked.
Right?
No.
I don't know.
You don't get to regulate what our job is.
Right. No. And so it's coming around time that people are doing that sort of thing, right? Because you got to have them registered around here by June.
Right.
So a guy who is not nobody, right? He owns a pretty big farm around here, down in Bakersfield. Went to go register his terrible assault weapon with the DOJ.
Online.
And filled out the online form, took a picture, sort of thing.
Sent it in, did all the things he's supposed to do.
Right. And then they decided it was illegally modified, though no one can tell me how or why.
Right, yeah, we've got no pictures. We don't know what the illegal modification is.
Right. And so then went to his house to arrest him for having illegally modified a firearm. Now, I'm very curious.
He registered.
Right, this only happened because he registered. But I'm very curious what the illegal modification even could be.
Right.
That was visible from a picture.
And when they said, he had, they found guns, 230 rounds of ammunition, and a pair of silencers.
Yeah. Now, look, having a silencer around here is basically asking for trouble. That's what it comes down to.
Well, because he's obviously planning on murdering people and being stealthy about it.
Well, that's clear. I mean, he was literally 4 seconds from becoming the James Bond of MS-13.
Right. Clearly.
Who we're now giving healthcare to. But anyway.
That just dawned on me, did it? Because I was going to mention, one statistic I want to find out is how many bullet wounds they got to patch up in the first year.
Hey, hopefully we'll get that after this. I mean, at least something positive might come out of it. But anyway, so clearly that was the only thing that was going to happen here. Now, the one thing that I think is sealing the deal and completely screwing this guy forever is that he had an auto-sear. Now, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it wasn't an auto-sear. It was a 3-round burst trigger mechanism. However, you can't own one no matter what in California. So, okay, we got this dangerous guy who owns...
Was that the illegal modification?
Well, so there's, how could you tell, right?
I don't know.
How would you know?
How would you know?
You wouldn't, right?
Because it goes inside the gun.
Yeah.
Unless his picture was of the gun totally disassembled.
Maybe. But, look, entirely possible, I guess. However, if you're submitting that to the DOJ, then you're an idiot. Because you need a $400 tax stamp just to have that goddamn thing. So, Okay, maybe that's the case and he's just a moron. But I doubt it, right? If you are in California, you are at least vaguely familiar with the idea that California hates firearms. So,
right.
That probably, on a presumption of not pure retardation, that probably didn't happen.
Right.
However, all of this, regardless, still comes down to, if you hadn't registered, what would be the problem? Because, by the way, he
would still be owning an illegal firearm.
There's no argument that he hurt anybody.
No, he owned an illegal firearm.
Oh. What made it? Why is illegal? What?
Just take our word for it.
Oh.
It was an illegal firearm.
I should have known.
Because back to you, there's no pictures. We don't know what was illegal about the gun.
Right. And by the way, I would love to know, right? Because what is the most likely scenario, in my personal opinion, that this guy bought this gun after the bullet button regulation, right? Mm-hmm. And then swapped it for a mag release.
Yep.
Now, that would be visible from the outside. So maybe that's it. But other than that, I mean, what, did he cut down the barrel? What are we talking about here?
Why the fuck would you cut down the barrel on one of those things?
No. Right? What other thing could we be talking about?
That's all back to we don't know.
Right?
We just do not know.
And so when everybody, by the way, says, well, why would it matter if you register it? Well, marginally because literally no one knows what the gun laws here are. And
because they're so complex and convoluted and can change on a whim in some cases.
And true.
You could be legal in the morning and prisonable by lunch.
Yeah.
And you would never know.
Right. Simply because some of these things change through court precedent, right? Oh, that does fall under this. Whereas yesterday it didn't. Well, what, are you supposed to monitor every court in the state?
Yes. If you're a responsible gun owner, you need to know everything.
Right. You must be a firearms lawyer to own a gun at this point.
Yes.
But, hey, look, this guy was definitely...
Talk about an undue burden.
Right. Shit. God damn it. So, this guy was clearly not making a good faith attempt to comply with the crazy bullshit that goes on here.
Obviously, no.
And by the way, he, is paying to be able to keep property that was already his, because you do have to pay them, I think, $15 for this. But more importantly, right, they went and they asked one of the former, I want to say it was a sheriff, but I may be wrong about that, but someone who you clearly would go ask about this sort of thing if you wanted to know what the law was, whose answer was, well, really, nobody knows what the gun laws are because they just change all the time, and there's no possible way to keep up with it because some days something is illegal, then there's a lawsuit, and then it is either more illegal or less, and who knows whether or not you're breaking the law right now. This is not a good sign.
No, it's not. It's kind of like the only way you can succeed to own a gun in California is to either A, be a police officer because you're exempt from all those rules, or B, move the fuck out of California.
And that's the end of our show for the day.
That's right. It's taco time.
However, before we go, we'd appreciate it if you shared us around.
You can find us on YouTube,
BitChute,
Facebook,
Twitter,
Patreon,
and Maker Support.
Thanks for stopping by.